So, as many of you know, we've been living in France for nearly 5 years, and there's an awful lot of myths and misinformation out there. People look online, they get some information, and quite often it's incorrect. So this series is called My Mate Told Me, and it's a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek look at what does your mate down the pub tell you because he's the expert. More often than not, it's wrong. So today I'm going to talk about some of the taxes and some of the consequences here in France. So my mate told me that ISAs in the UK are still tax-free in France. They're not. ISAs are not recognised in France. And so whilst you're UK resident, the money that you have in ISAs can grow tax-free. Move to France. Unfortunately, the French don't recognise ISAs. And not only do they tax them from when you arrived, but they can tax the whole gain. So an awful lot of the time, people may have had ISAs in the UK for 5 years, 10 years, maybe even longer. And that money's grown and grown and grown, tax-free. They move to France, and all of a sudden, that £1 million ISA, which started off at £50,000 many, many years ago, the gain is going to be taxed according to French tax regulations. So my mate down the pub telling me that ISAs are still tax-free in France, completely wrong. One of the other main myths that I hear most days in France is that my pension commencement lump sum, what we used to call the tax-free amount, is tax-free in France. Well, again, my mate down the pub who told me that it is, he's wrong. I'll show UK resident, and there's been a lot of talk recently about the Labour government changing these rules. They haven't. So if you're in the UK, your PCLS, your 25% of your pension is tax-free. Move to France, the French authorities see it as income and they tax you accordingly. I'll give you a quick example. A lovely chap I'm chatting to at the moment in Lyon. His pension is about £600,000. His mate in the UK said to him, when you move to France, are you going to take out your 25%, your £150,000 tax-free? Yeah, I think I will. I'll do some renovations on my house. When he got to France, he took his money out from his UK pension scheme and he was taxed on it. And let's assume he was paying around 45% tax with social charges and so on. He was hammered. So instead of getting the 150,000 out tax-free in the UK, here in France, it's taxed. So my mate down the pub who told me that, once again, he's wrong. And then one other quick example. My mate down the pub told me that my pension in the UK will be taxed in the UK and it'll be taxed in France. It won't. It'll be taxed in the UK if you choose to have it taxed, or in France if you choose to pay here. There is a DTA, a Double Taxation Agreement between the two countries, so you won't pay twice. Choose to have it paid in the UK and pay your tax there and submit an offset in France, or have it paid gross into France and then submit here in France and pay your taxes. My mate down the pub isn't often right about these things, and that's why speaking to a professional who understands the intricacies between the UK products and rules and regulations, and on the French side, that's far more important for people who are moving to France. Tax isn't the problem when people move to France. Assuming things that your mate down the pub told you, that's the problem. I'm a UK certified financial planner, a pension specialist, and I've lived in France for 5 years. So if you want regulated advice by someone who is here and understands the tax legislation, get in touch, give me a call, find me on LinkedIn. So if you enjoyed that episode, click on the next one where I'll be discussing why your UK will might not be suitable in France.